Congratulations. You actually got a listener who said yes. What happens next? So many people fall flat on their face when they hear a yes because you get told so often no. So I want to explain to you in this part of the conversation because you just did your introduction, which bought you time and gave you credibility so you can ask for the reason of your call, which is, do you want to sell your home? They responded back, yes. Now what happens? You can't just stop talking, call it general. You've got to ask permission. And this part is so important. And I think it gets dropped all the time by professional salespeople and newbies alike. Now, this right here is actually a transition. It's called an upfront contract. And what it does, it helps prepare the listener for what's going to come next. And that is so important. That's essentially what an upfront contract does because it's letting the person on the other end of the line understand like, hey, this conversation isn't over yet. It's just begun, matter of fact, and this is what's going to happen next. So let's just say Tim just gave me a yes. Hey, great. Hey, normally, Tim, how this would actually works is I'll just ask you a few questions, and then afterwards, I actually forward this over to my partner, and we will see if we may be a good option for you. Would that be okay, Tim? You see how I'm just kind of asking Tim for permission to continue. And I'm telling you, hey, I've got a few questions. He's getting to know what to expect. And then I'm telling him also what's going to happen afterwards. Hey, afterwards, I'm going to forward this over to this other guy. Now he knows there's somebody else, a higher authority, which is so important. You never want to be the decision maker. There's always somebody else that needs to make that decision. Valuation specialist. That is a person, that's a department. It positions you to be much more professional, right? And then your partner, it positions you also to be much more professional, and you have somebody else that you need to seek advice from. The valuation specialist, great line as well. And again, it helps you buy credibility on the phone with this potential lead. And then we'll see if we may be a good option for you, right? So you're letting them know that everybody isn't a good fit. We're not a good fit for everybody, and that's okay, right? And then you ask them, will that be okay, right? So a lot is happening in that little bitty line right there, and you're communicating a ton to the person on the other line. Make sure you do your best to always give an upfront contract and let the listener truly know what's about to happen. And then after that, they respond back, you go into your questions. Now, a lot of times you might ask this question, will that be okay? And it's just silence because you actually didn't transition appropriately. And they're just like, yeah, like hurry up and get over with it, right? You really got to read the person out, but you can just say the line and make sure they understand what's going to happen next. And you're just like, hey, I just want to be respectful of your time. Is that okay? Right? Because that's ultimately what you're doing. You want to be respectful of their time and also be respectful to them. And it's going to make your conversation goes way much better. So that's, what happens next. As soon as you get a yes, give them the upfront contract, and then you transition into the 4 questions: timeline, motivation, condition, and price.